Hello and welcome. 5 p.m. Plenty to talk about again. Uh, Gargi is, I think, at the back end. What I will do is let's set it up. Let's set it up and then we will play a few clips for you as well. The Ravichandran Ashwin session at the Trailblazers Conclave has gone viral. It's everywhere. If you just search Ravichandran Ashwin, you will see people are talking about the toxic fan culture. People are talking about Ashwin speaking on Gautam Gambhir's policies. You will see a lot of that stuff. Today, I will first talk about what Ashwin said about India's white ball template. And it was instructive that Ashwin said that. The comment came when Shubhayan first asked him about Sanju Samson and about Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Shubhayan basically obviously meant that this new template, the high risk, high reward template that India is adopting, and he mentioned Sanju Samson and Vaibhav Suryavanshi. Soon after he said that, Ashwin made some very pertinent points about India's white ball template. He also made some interesting points about how news, what he wants to see from the sports media. And I will touch upon them as well. So why not? Why not play the clip? Gargi, if you have the clip ready, can you play the clip, please? The Ashwin clip on
Sanju
India's
Samson,
white ball
there has
template.
been a tag associated with him throughout his career. That is inconsistent. He starts well, but his form step. And he was talking about it in the press conference as well after he scored three 80s on the trot. That I wanted to shed that thought. I wanted to shed that tag. I have that belief within me that I can do it. I can do it, although there are doubts. Sanju Samson, the character, when he does well, or when he goes through that slump, because you have seen in close quarters, and also about Vaibhav Suryavanshi, the next gen talents that are coming in right now, and the way they are taking the world by storm.
Look, the way they played the final of the Under 19 World Cup was a huge message for all of us watching the sport as to what we can expect from the next generation. They are not going to defend and play through tough phases. They are going to just go smack bang. And the problem with going smack bang is one that we can't afford to watch it from a tentative perspective. Thoda dekh ke khelo. That we can't do. But the beauty of playing like that is it throws the opposition so far back that it's very, very tough to match up with that sort of brutal hitting and pressure-free cricket. If you looked at how England chased it, that was no different. So we are seeing a white ball landscape that's completely new. And we have to come to terms with the fact that this is how these kids are going to play, and we have to go wow over it. Rather than saying, okay, this is not how we played. And that was very refreshing to watch, be it him, be it Ayush Matre, be it whoever it is. It's so refreshing to watch. And I had no doubts in my mind over the last decade that T20 cricket had to be played this way. And I'm so happy that India is playing T20 cricket like this. In India, it's often at 49 or 45. You're supposed to take 5 singles. If you didn't, your coach is going to tell you, "Arey kya kiya? 50 chhod diya." And when Sanju Samson is getting out on 89, 97 or 93, I'm so happy. I'm so happy he's not taking that bunt to mid-wicket and point to get to his 100. And he made no bones of it to come out and say, I will keep taking those risks. Why is he taking those risks? Let's understand that. Because that one risk that he's not taken could well be the difference between you being in a final and not being in a final. He could have got to 100. He was 89 in the semi-final against England. But he ended up taking chances. It's one hit, and England lost by one hit. Let's not forget that. And we have to, in some way or the other, realize that T20 is answer for football. Your defenders will not get the front page because they don't score. Your bowlers will not get the front page because they're defending. And Bumrah's defensive 17th over was spoken about because he is Bumrah. But nobody spoke about Hardik's 19th over. The first ball goes for a 6 and Hardik nailed 5 Yorkers after that. That's incredible. Because Hardik, you always remembered him and stonking those balls for 6s, right? But you can't seem to find the fascination in him coming back from that 6 to bowl those 5 balls. Tough. A batter is batting on 90. He's nailed you for a 6 and that didn't miss by much. But he's had it in him to nail those 5 Yorkers, which is amazing. So I would love for these things to be spoken about. Like you said about Sanju, self-doubts are created by people on the outside.
Interaction, this one. Absolutely fascinating interaction. Fascinating interaction, this one. I mean, this is the new template. This is the new template. And when Ashwin mentioned it, it was amazing to hear. And the clarity with which he mentioned that, at 89, Sanju Samson goes for that shot. At 90, he goes for that shot. It's selfless cricket. That's what you want to see. Is this the template that Gautam Gambhir keeps talking about? Is this the template that we in India perhaps did not see earlier? Is this the template that will now redefine Indian cricket going forward? Is this the template that will make white ball cricket what it is? Fascinating, fascinating. I mean, that's what it is. Dhairya, Kolkata, it's raining or not? No, it has not rained today. There was prediction of rain and the nor'westers, etc., but there is nothing like that. So the KKR team practiced yesterday. If that is what you are asking, Dharya, they will practice, and I don't think there is any reason for them not to practice. It's actually quite okay. Evenings are still quite pleasant. It is not that bad. Amarto, well said by Ashwin. Absolutely, Shashwat high. Coming back to the point that Ashwin made, I think this is the Sanju Samson that has finally come of age. Shubhan's question was right. Shubhan was well within his rights to say what he did. That Sanju Samson is this enigma. When you see a Sanju Samson, you tend to think, or rather, when you see Sanju Samson in the past, you would tend to think first 5 games of the IPL, unbelievable, unbelievable. He would just play shots which will leave you in awe. You would be left gasping. How is it that this man could play this shot? Once he played that shot, and you're like, oh, wow, that's the word that Ashwin used. Interestingly, the session was co-sponsored by Wow Momo. So Sagar can actually use that exclamation, or rather that phrase by Ashwin. But the truth is, this variety of T20 cricket. And when did this come? You've got to understand this. When did this come? I think this came when we were hammered by England 10 wickets in Australia in that T20 World Cup. That's when it came. It came in Adelaide. It came when Joss Butler and Alex Hales took India to the cleaners. That's when the seeds were sown. Rohit Sharma, when as captain he was, in that T20 World Cup, he realized that, boss, this is not a template that's going to work. Not happening. Rohit Sharma comes back, and in the 2023 World Cup, we see a fundamentally different Indian T20 side. Fundamentally different. That's when this was born. Rohit Sharma shed the tag of any kind of inhibition. He could do that because he was captain. You can't do that as a player. As a player, you have certain other responsibilities. You have to keep in mind that, oh, my place in the side, what am I being told, etc., etc. But as captain, Rohit Sharma was able to do that. Rohit Sharma was able to clearly tonk the ball in a manner that unbelievable. That's when this formula was born. So if I can divide this into 3 parts, like a film, the first hour, the midpoint, and the climax. The real first star was the 2023 World Cup under Rohit and Rahul Dravid. That's when you could see Rohit Sharma coming out blazing away. 6 overs 50, 10 overs 70. That's when the idea, the formula. Thereafter, fast forward to Gautam Gambhir. 2024 T20 World Cup wasn't like this. Because except maybe that one match against Australia when Rohit got that 40 ball 90. Because in the US the tracks weren't like this. You couldn't go, hammer and tongs from ball one. You couldn't. That's what it was, not par. But the idea was there. Gautam Gambhir employed that same formula in the IPL. If you remember Sunil Narayan, he promoted Sunil Narayan. He promoted these guys up the order. We had two things happening. We had an Abhishek Sharma and a Travis Head. We had a Sunil Narayan and a Phil Salt. All of a sudden, the entire T20 template changed in front of our eyes. The whole T20 template changed in front of our eyes. 2024. So Rohit Sharma, after the 2022 World Cup, when India lost, somebody's asked that Rohit Sharma changed the Indian team by his game Dhairya. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Do we think we can play with this high risk in South Africa? I'll come to that. True wicket. Ashwin's session at the Trailblazers Conclave defined him as a thought leader. Agree with your view that he should get into coaching at a senior level. I absolutely think he has a career there. I would love to see Ashwin as coach. You even asked this question. 100% I do. I definitely think Ashwin has a career there. I absolutely think Ashwin has a career there. I think Zahir has a career there. I think Zahir as an Indian team bowling coach has a strong career there. Absolutely does. There's no question. But coming back, let's understand this. Ashwin has clarity of thought. Dev Pratap Singh Chauhan, yes. Priyanshu, Ashwin as coach, yes. True wicket, Ashwin at Trailblazers, yes. Ripon Ghosh, when will Rev Sports Hindi live start? Boryada, I think today, tomorrow. Shubhain is on leave today. I've given them. I mean, come on. These guys have worked non-stop. I think it will start their maximum in a day. I will ask Shubhain and Rohit, both of them. Rohit went back to Delhi yesterday. Shubhain is on leave today. It will start. I mean, give them a little bit of time. Uh, you know, because these guys have gone full throttle. So give them a bit of time. Coming back to the point that I was making. So 2024, the IPL, all of a sudden we could see on Indian pitches, and because the 26 World Cup was on Indian pitches, the calibration was started for Indian pitches. You could see a Travis Head, you could see an Abhishek Sharma, and all of a sudden you could see a Sunil Narayan, and you could see this guy, Phil Salt. Absolutely destroy, demolish opposition. That's when the whole dimension of this changed. And once Gautam cracked that, the formula started. That was point two. If Rohit Sharma started it in 2022, this was act two of the three-part drama. Act one, like I said, 22, after that loss. Act two, IPL, and that 2023 World Cup. And thereafter, when Gautam Gambhir took over, like he said, and you had all of a sudden players like Vaibhav Suryavanshi tonk the ball. Imagine that match against Pakistan in the under 19. Difficult wicket. That guy goes and gets a 68 of some 30-40 balls. I mean, multiple times he's done that. You have a breed of cricketers. All of a sudden, you have a breed of cricketers who can just tear things apart. Gautam Gambhir created that template. He took it to the final level, the climax. If I can say, and that's what Ashwin was referring to, when you are seeing a Vaibhav, when you are seeing a Sanju, when you are seeing an Ishan, when you are seeing an Abhishek, and you're like, this is the white ball T20 template for the next decade. This is the template for the next decade. In India, it's this. England, a Jacob Bethel. In South Africa, a Dewald Brevis, a Tristan Stubbs. Even David Miller, the way he batted in that match against India from ball one, took off 20 for 3 South Africa. 20 for 3 South Africa, they get to 187. David Miller, even at this age, rediscovered, and the way he batted, some 30 ball 55 or 60, brilliant. The T20 template has changed. It's not just India. Imagine England. Ashwin is absolutely right when he says England was about to chase it down. 3 overs 45. I was in that Wankhede press box. And believe you me, everybody was tense. That Jasprit Bumrah over, and then that 18th over, and then Hardik Pandya's 19th over, nailed it. Back to back, all of a sudden it became 39 of 2, and then Hardik made it 30 of 1. So 6 runs and 9 runs. Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik Pandya. And Ashwin mentioned the Hardik Pandya over. Absolutely spot on to do that. We mentioned Jasprit Bumrah. You know why? Because Hardik Pandya, and Ashwin made that point once again, that when you think of Hardik Pandya, your first thought is the big sixes. When you think of a Jasprit Bumrah, your first thought is this guy will nail the Yorkers. You instantly know, that Jasprit Bumrah will nail the Yorkers. But when you think of a Hardik Pandya, your initial thought is, this chap will hit the big sixes. You don't associate Hardik Pandya with nailing the Yorkers. After the first ball six that he went for, he bowled five extraordinarily good balls. So Jasprit Bumrah and Hardik, that's selfless cricket. The cricket that we are seeing now from the Indian team, Sanju Samson, and that brings me back to Sanju Samson. Imagine this. England lost by 7. Shivam, yeah, you can say that last over, Shivam considered a couple of sixes. But the fact is, lost by 7, one hit. That's what it was, one hit. Now, if Sanju Samson played a little slow and he said, okay, I've already gotten to 89, 90, I will just sort of knock runner ball twos, doubles here, there. I'll get to 44 ball 88. I will make it a 55 ball 100. So let's take 7, 8 balls for the last 11 runs. The strike rate drops from 200 to 170. That's the difference between a win and a loss. And that is what Ravi Ashwin is talking about. That's the point. The point is these little things. Sanju Samson's approach was so refreshing, so refreshing that I can't say, that this was the best thing for us to see. Everybody, you come Hardik Pandya, that last over, 2 sixes, he could have easily given it to the other guy, Akshar Patel. He held back, hit the 2 sixes off the off spinner, Will Jacks, and that made India go past the 250. That's what you are talking about. The selflessness that you keep hitting. Sanju Samson could have gotten to his 100. Somebody could have gotten to his 50. That did not happen. When I'm on this, Ashwin made some other important points as well. Ashwin made this point about a story that was published that Sanju Samson went back to cricket after 3 days. And he made this point that we are cricketers. What do you expect us to do? IPL is round the corner. What do you expect us to do? Why is this being made a big deal of? Like that Shivam Dubey train story. Devendra Pandey's story was a factually good story. But where do we go wrong? We go wrong because all of a sudden Shivam Dubey in a train became, Shivam Dubey did something extraordinary by getting into a train. No, he did not. By the way, in England, in Leeds, India travelled by train from London. It's expected. If you remember, we were at the train station in Leeds. The Indian team travelled by train. From Leeds to Birmingham, I think that they took the coach, but multiple times we have seen the Indian team travel by train. It's expected, it's par. Ashwin said his parents travel by train. Absolutely. The hockey team, if they go by train, if the football players go by train, why is it not a problem? Why is it that Shivam Dubey traveling by train becomes a headline? Because we have attributed a certain sense of aura and as if cricketers are demigods. No, they're not. They're sports people. Simple as that. Devendra Pandey's story that Shivam Dubey traveled by train factually is a decent story. But the fact that it was made, look, this shows extra commitment, is absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. It shows nothing extra. He was prudent enough, smart enough, wanted to go back home, gotten into the train. That's not something that needs to. Train travel cannot be celebrated, I'm sure. Sorry, it doesn't tell us anything about character. It tells us how strangely we look at our other sports people and our cricketers. It tells us about us, not about Shivam or anything else. And this brings me to a question that was asked of Sanju Samson. Sanju Samson, there was a reel which Sanju Samson was with friends driving somewhere or whatever. The fact is, I think in the Indian Day Conclave, maybe forgotten. Nikhil Naz asked him that while the others went for a holiday, Sanju Samson was driving with his friends and having chai in the tea stall. Sanju actually rebutted quite well, saying, I also wanted to go for the holiday, couldn't get it. Now, here's my question. If Sanju Samson did go for the holiday, it's a much deserved holiday. What's the problem? Why are you imputing? What if suppose somebody else, say Surya Kumar Yadav, has gone for a 5-star hotel holiday. He deserves it. Ishan Kishan has gone for a holiday, or whoever, somebody, Jasprit Bumrah. He deserves it. What's the problem in a holiday? They have earned the dollar. They have worked the hardest. They've slogged their asses off. They've won a World Cup. If they go for a 5-star holiday, what is the problem? Sanju Samson driving with his friends, not taking the holiday, doesn't make Sanju Samson any extra special. What makes him extra special is the effort. And Sanju said that I would have also gone for a holiday. I would have also gone for a holiday. What's the big deal? Our problem of celebrating things, the fact that he's traveling in a car makes him as if somebody who is going for a 5-star holiday is not doing the right thing. Who says so? Who says so? After finishing the Trailblazers conclave, I will go for a holiday with my family somewhere. I deserve to. I worked the hardest for 7 months, not taken a day off, worked 18, 19, 20 hours a day. I deserve to take the family and go for a vacation. 3 days, 4 days, 2 days, whatever it is. Sanju Samson going for that holiday is his right. If he drives around, that's his right. If he goes for a 5-star holiday, that's his right. Why are we imputing these things that going for a holiday in a 5-star resort is perhaps not right? Why? Who says so? Similarly, Shivam Dubey's train ride was made a lot of. No, not relevant. Story-wise, okay, he traveled by train. Factually, good story. Good story. But the way it was interpreted as if Shivam Dubey has broken some ceiling. No, he did not. Nothing. He found it convenient. He found it time-saving. He found it quick enough. He did not get a flight ticket. He jumped on a train and went. That's all that there is to that story. And I think Ashwin made that point absolutely spot on in the Trailblazers conclave. The reason I like Ravichandran Ashwin, is because of this clarity of thought. Is exactly because of this clarity of thought. The reason I want Ashwin to come to coaching is because of this clarity of thought, that this guy will bring a lot to the table. He will open up, he will do a lot to the table. Exactly, Shayan Ganguly, cricketers are also normal human beings. There is nothing to celebrate or denigrate. If today somebody hires a chartered aircraft and travels to family to reach early, nobody should have a problem. That guy has earned that money. He has chartered. He's not taking somebody else's money and traveling. If he goes there, that's his entirely personal call. Much like Shivam Dubey traveling by the train is his personal call. The template that Ashwin is talking about, this high risk, high reward template, I think is the way forward for Indian cricket. And that's why the selflessness, it's not just high risk, high reward, the selflessness that at 49 you hit a six, at 48 you hit a six, at 90 you get out, no problem. At 90 you try and hit 1-4-1-6 and get to 100. If that doesn't happen, so be it. I will keep my strike rate at 200. I will keep my strike rate at that level. That is the new India. And that is what Ravichandran Ashwin is talking about. And that's what we would want to celebrate. That's what. Clearly. I mean, somebody, Bidut Das, you're right. Virat Kohli taking his son to school in England becomes a story. Why? It is his son. He has to take him to school. Big deal. Why would that become a story? Why are we making these? They are human beings, for God's sake, at the end of the day. Yes, they are larger than life, but because they are stars, nobody has said that they can't do things natural or normal, considered normal by normal people. How proud are you after pulling off the conclave? Hugely proud. Boss, come on. We are a 4-year-old organization with 50 plus people now. To pull off a 3-day conclave plus that 1 day in the studio, 4 days, 65 sessions, 35 athletes, 23 sessions, 65 speakers, hugely proud. I mean, it is natural that I will be proud. I am proud of the travel team. I am proud of the fact that not one athlete's flights were messed up. Not one car was messed up. Not one meal was messed up. Not one anything. It was a seamless conclave. It tells me that we as a team have arrived. The junior most member telling me, the founder of the organization during the lunch, sir, wear the wristband is exactly the kind of culture you would want in an organization. I'm immensely proud of the conclave. Immensely. I don't think India has seen a sports conclave as good as this. And I'm not being pompous, I'm being very objective and very candid. What I'm equally proud of is the studio. A lot of people asked yesterday, and let me answer this. A lot of people asked yesterday that when are we starting programming in the studio? Tomorrow. We are recording our series of IPL shows in the studio tomorrow. That's our first day. I mean, the day you saw the opening of the inaugural, obviously there were 100 people in the studio. There were 100 people, and obviously it was a little here and there, because clearly you can understand 100 people, guests, they were in the audience sitting, there was food, there was all of that. We were cutting the ribbon, we had athletes, we had all these people. But real programming for the studio, from the studio for the IPL starts tomorrow. We are recording a series of shows starting tomorrow in English, Hindi, and Bangla. And what better when we are recording tomorrow with a lot of our team members, Shubhayan, Trisha, Rohan, Debashish, all of them will be coming to the studio tomorrow to record a series of shows, and we will do that. Gargi's gone back to Delhi. She'll come back to Calcutta in a week. Rohit Juglan will also do that. There will be a lot of superb programming coming out of the studio. And guess what? We start this tomorrow. And today, my hero, my sporting hero, because I grew up admiring this guy. This guy gave me inspiration. This guy gave me, my understanding of cricket, my understanding of Indian nationalism was partly fashioned by this guy. So when this guy sends us a wish and says that this studio is important in the Indian sporting ecosystem, there can't be bigger inspiration. In the realm of entrepreneurship, Sri Mukesh Ambani sent us a wish. I was overwhelmed, humbled. It was very kind and generous of him. In the sporting domain, this man, there's no one better. For me, this man is the ultimate in cricket. Anyone can come. This man, the quality he had, the batsmanship he showed, the age, the longevity, the resilience, the courage, the passion, the determination, there's nobody better. So when this man sends this wish to us, that's the biggest inspiration, and it comes the day before we start our actual programming in the studio. We start our programming tomorrow, and this wish lands up today. Gargi, can you play this wish, please?
Congratulations
Gargi,
to
you there?
Moria and
Yeah.
Sharmishta on Rev Sports Studio, a platform that celebrates India's sporting spirit. Media in sport connects passion with performance by bringing out stories beyond the field. And when those stories span every sport, they inspire the next generation of athletes. My best wishes to Rev Sports team. Good luck.
So there's Sachin Tendulkar talking about the studio and the relevance of the studio. That's what it is. And this studio is multi-sport. There is a Hindi, Bangla, English, a conference room, a podcast setup, multi-sport. If you see our main studio, one side has Neeraj Chopra, one side has cricket. That's the idea. We know that we operated from a makeshift studio. This is the studio. We know we operated from my home studio. We converted the top floor of the house. That's what we could afford at that point in time. I remember I served a 2-year ban. Remember, there was self-doubt. Remember all of that the lies that were peddled. So when we were operating from the home studio, because we had to get the brand going, we launched the Conclave, and now we have the studio which will become fully operational from the middle of the year, but we are starting programming tomorrow. We will enrich the Indian sporting ecosystem like no other. We will enrich the Indian sporting ecosystem. You can be assured. Trailblazers is now a brand that is nationally celebrated. And the athletes tell me, Anju George, Rani Rampal, Tanya Sajdev, all of them, we want to come back. This is part of our annual calendar that we'll come back. I'll tell you two stories, each one. There was one meeting between Harbhajan Singh and Sneh Rana. And there was another meeting between Zahir Khan and Meghna Singh. That's what makes me so pleased about Trailblazers. These were not on stage, not on camera, rather in the lobby, in the cafeteria, a Sneh Rana seeking out a Harbhajan Singh and asking him how to bowl in England, seeking out a Harbhajan Singh and asking him how to bowl in a high pressure situation in a World Cup which will be played away from home soil. A Meghna Singh wanting to make a comeback, seeking out a Zahir Khan and talking about fast bowling and moving the ball. Now, how relevant are these conversations? This is what it is all about. This is why the conclave is so relevant. This is why the conclave has become such an important 4 days in the sporting calendar, in the Indian ecosystem. A Zahir Khan and a Meghna Singh, think about it. A Meghna Singh in normal circumstances will not be able to reach out to a Zahir Khan. It doesn't happen like that. Suppose there is an award function, 2 hours. Will it happen? You only tell me. Both of them will be busy with their respective work. In Trailblazers, 2 days, people are relaxed. They've done their session. No one disturbs. There's no media hounding. We know what we ask, what we need them to do. They do their session. They can mix and mingle and just speak and chat and go and have a cup of tea and relax. That's when athletes can meet each other and talk to each other. That's the whole beauty of Trailblazers. 2023, Manu Bhakar from the audience, if you remember, from the audience asked a question of Abhinav Bindra and said, I am on the verge of retirement and I am on the verge of giving up. Abhinav Bindra spoke to Manu from stage. And 1 year later, Manu Bhakar in Paris goes on to win 2 medals and almost won a third. Almost won a third. That is the beauty of Trailblazers. That's why this conclave has become so significant. Coming back, let me take some of your questions. Gautam Das, cannot be stopped. These players are national property. Privacy is their fundamental right. In spite of knowing fans will inquire and assume. You can inquire. You 100% can inquire. A Neeraj Chopra is national property. You can inquire. A Sania Mirza is national property. Harmanpreet Singh, PR Srijesh, all these, Shivam Dubey. But the fact that Shivam Dubey is traveling in a train cannot become a cause of national celebration. That's a fact. It's a story, yes. You can go up and ask for an autograph, yes. A selfie, yes, indeed. But train travel in India has become improved, as Ashwin said. Quality of train travel, at least in certain sectors, is top notch. There is nothing unusual about traveling in a train that you make the world out of that. That's the problem. Sanju Samson going back to cricket. Sanju Samson going back to cricket in 3 days after the World Cup is not an aberration. It is the norm. IPL is going to be played in what? 10 days? So after a World Cup, he will have 2.5 weeks. He's gone into a new team. So clearly, you have to understand that Sanju Samson going back to cricket is par. It is the norm. The fact that he's gone back cannot be a cause of celebration and make Sanju Samson great. What makes Sanju Samson great is his approach, hitting a 6 at 89. What makes him great is the selfless approach, trying to hit to one boundary, 1 6 at 90 and closing out a game. That's what makes Sanju Samson a great, not that 3 days after a World Cup win he's gone back to practice. Doesn't. So we have to understand where we go wrong as fans, where we as journalists also, to ask Sanju Samson, "Arey, so and so went for a holiday. So what? He or she is entitled to a holiday. Big deal. They have won a World Cup. They can celebrate in any which way they want. The fact that if Sanju Samson did go for a 5-star holiday, does that make him a lesser player? No. So why are you asking that? That's where I think we need to be a little bit more mature. But the fact that he's driving around in Kerala doesn't make him somebody who's perhaps a greater human being than someone else who's traveling around in a flight going for a holiday. No. Do you think we will see the combo of Gigi and Surya for the upcoming T20? Difficult to say. Difficult to say at this point in time. 2028 is a pretty far thing at this point. I mean, the Olympic Games, Surya Kumar Yadav is already in the public domain saying he wants to be part of that. An Olympic medal will be massive. Gautam Gambhir clearly made that point at the Trailblazers conclave that he would want to be a part of the 2028 Olympics. Look, who's this Shilajit? Look, the fact that the Olympic Games, cricket is coming back at the Olympic Games after 120 odd years, 28 years. It's a massive moment for the sport. For anyone, whether it is Surya, whether it is Gautam, whether it is Travis Head, whether it is Steve Smith, that elusive Olympic gold medal will be a massive piece of silverware. Massive. So anyone will want to win that. For Gautam more so, Surya more so. They have two World Cups. But to go with the Olympic medal is a special one. Roger Federer, you know, Roger Federer does not have an Olympic gold medal in singles. But if you go and ask Roger Federer, he will say his doubles gold medal with Stan Wawrinka is fantastic, and one of the high points despite winning so many Grand Slams. So an Olympic medal is an Olympic medal. It's something else. I do see, to answer your question, I do see Olympics before it's July. So I do see people really pushing. Let me put it that way. Uh, really pushing their bodies to be part of that Olympic squad. It will be something extraordinary. The viewer quotient of the Olympic Games in India for the 2028 Games will be phenomenal. Even this year, the Asian Games, India will be sending an A team, the ace team, not the second string side. India will be sending the best team to the Asian Games, because clearly cricket now is part of the multidiscipline sporting bandwagon. So in Japan as well, at the Asian Games, you can expect India's best team to travel, and again that India Pakistan will happen. Hopefully, again India hopefully will win, but that is now part of the multidiscipline sporting bandwagon as well. Olympic Games, I have no doubt. Cricket at the Olympic Games, top six teams, perhaps no Pakistan, will be one of the most watched in South Asia for sure. Can you please highlight on young domestic prodigies? Yes, on Aniruddha, Syed Nizamuddin, we will be starting with our IPL programming from tomorrow. You have already seen Devashish Sen's reporting from the KKR camp and the KKR training session and all of that. We will start doing IPL programming in earnest from tomorrow. SWOT analysis, teams, young prodigies, stories, IPL controversies. It will be holistic, comprehensive. And again, you will see a lot of stuff, interesting stuff, trivia, anecdotal stuff. All of that will start from tomorrow. 1 week to go. 1 week to go. Basically, it's eight days to go. You will see a lot of conclave programming and highlights and sessions as well. But our IPL programming will also start in earnest from tomorrow. So that's the plan, and that is why the reason we are going the reason we are going to shoot a series of programs from tomorrow in our studio is to focus on the IPL, is to focus on the IPL and what's coming. And that's why we are going to do special shoots starting tomorrow at the studio. You will love it because, as I said, it will be state of the art. It's designed beautifully. We will be doing a lot of programming, Bangla, Hindi, and English from the studio starting tomorrow. Gargi, can I have that Sachin Tendulkar clip once more, please?
Congratulations to Boria and Sharmishta on Rev Sports Studio, a platform that celebrates India's sporting spirit. Media in sport connects passion with performance by bringing out stories beyond the field. And when those stories span every sport, they inspire the next generation of athletes. My best wishes to Rev Sports team. Good luck.
There can be no one better than this man to inspire. There can be no one better than this man to give us the best wishes in sport. So it also adds to our responsibility. It also adds to our responsibility to bring you quality programming, to try and be differentiated programming, try and be holistic, try and do multi sport. No one else is doing it. No one else aspires to do it. It's high risk, high reward. Again, to do multi-sport is high risk. There is no straight ROI. There are no straight numbers. We have been able to crack it, do it, put in a lot of effort, money, passion, human capital, human hours, labor hours, and today we are reaping the rewards. We will push the bar. So starting tomorrow, a lot of IPL, lots of solid programming coming your way. Keep watching the platform and keep backing us. Thank you very much for watching.